So to create an environment and deploy our Django REST framework project or application to Elastic Beanstalk and on AWS, we need to first initialize the EB CLI. Okay, so let's copy this comment here and then go to the terminal and paste it here in the terminal. And this comment here will initialize the EB CLI and create a new project for us. So in this comment we get to choose the name of the project. So I'm going to name it My API. Okay, and then we get to choose the version of Python that we need to use, and I'm going to use the Python 3.7, and I'm going to hit enter. And now this application was created. Let's go back to the documentation and see the next step. The next step is optional, which is EB init or initiate. And with this, I can set up an SSH if I want. But in this case, now for the purpose of this tutorial, I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to skip this step. The next step is to create an environment and deploy the application to Elastic Beanstalk. So to do that, we need to copy this comment here and then execute it inside our terminal, but let's change the name of our environment to My API-env. Okay, and then hit enter. And now as you see, AWS or Elastic Beanstalk service is creating our application. And now that the process of creating the environment and deploying is done, we can see that create environment operation is complete, but with errors. So in order to know, and also you could know from this here summary, it says successful 0, failed 1. So the deployment has failed. In order to know why, the only way is to go to your console and the AWS website and then refresh, and as you see here inside environments you have My API environment. So if you click on My API env, as you see here the health is pending, and you can see here you have some errors, the events of environment creation. So to know what caused this error, we need to go to the logs here under My API env to request logs. We can ask for full logs, or we can just request the last 100 lines and see if that helps at the beginning. So we download it, and as you see here, it was first installing or downloading the dependencies, and the error occurred during execution of a command. So if we follow here, we could see that this library, which is the database library, is causing this issue. So what we need to do is we need to exclude this one from our requirements.txt and test. Config is required to build this. So this is all for Postgres database. So to solve this for now, we need to go to our project, requirements.txt, and then exclude it because we're not using Postgres database at the moment. So I'm just gonna comment this out, save. And let me check if anything else here might cause a problem on the AWS server. And I can see there are two dependencies here that might cause problem. The PyPy when 32 and the PyWhen 32. These two libraries are not required for AWS deployment because we are using, or AWS is using, Linux as its operating systems, as we see here in a moment. So it's running on Linux. So these two libraries also might cause problems, so I need to comment them out. And then now I need to save this changes and then try creating a new environment. I can't create the same environment name, so I'm going to change it to my API-env-1 and then execute. And now we just need to wait for AWS or Elastic Beanstalk to create the new environment for us. And now, as you see, instance deployment completed successfully, and successfully launched environment my API-env-1. So now I need to go to my console and then refresh. Let me choose the environment that I want. And as you see here, this is the previous environment, which is failed. And we can now terminate this environment because it has failed and we don't want to keep it. So here I need to type the name of the environment, which is my API-env, and then terminate. I'll leave it to terminate and I'll go to the working environment, which is my API-env-1. And as you see, health is okay. And I have no errors here. And if I go to the link, this is the link for my project after deployment. So if I click on it, I can see that my project is working and it has been deployed successfully. The only problem here is that I didn't add this domain to the allowed hosts in my project. So I'm gonna do that. There are two ways to do that. Either I copy this from here and add it to allowed hosts, or I can go to my project terminal and just write EB status and that will give me the status of my project, and copy the CNAME from here, and then go to settings.py inside our project, and then allowed hosts, and then edit here. So now how to upload or deploy my project again after the changes that I've done? It's pretty simple. We just need to type EB deploy. But before that, I want to check the git ignore file here to make sure I added, and you guys mustn't forget this, you have to include here your virtual environment folder, because you don't need to push the virtual environment folder to AWS. So I'm just going to add it here, save git ignore, and then deploy. So I'm going to execute the EB deploy. One thing to notice here, that every time I deploy my project, it creates a new application or a new version of my application. So if I do some mistakes, or if it happens that I deployed a version with a problem, I can always go back to the previous version and activate the previous application. Now we're gonna wait for it to upload. And it's saying here invalid parameters value error. So it's saying no environment found for environment name. And it's good that this happened. So when I created this environment, you remember my ABI env has failed, and we had to create a new one called my ABI env-1. But now when I did the deploy again, it used the old environment. So how to change that? To change that, we need to go to this folder here, Elastic Beanstalk, and inside here there is a config.yaml file. And if you look here, the variable here, this environment, has a value which is my API-env, which is the old environment. So we need to change that to -1 and save it. Also from this configuration files here, you can change your Python version, you can change your region where you are, and then deploy. And after changing the environment name, I need to check the status to get the CNAME so I can add it to allowed host. So I'm just going to type AB status. And I'll take the CNAME from here, copy it, and then go to settings.py and change this and save it. After that, I can run the deploy. And now it's going to create a new version of my application with the new configurations. And now that the environment has been updated successfully, let's go to the AWS, close this, and refresh. to see if everything is working fine and I have no errors. And now that I have no errors, let me just go to this link. And as you see now, my API has been deployed successfully and I could see all the links there. And if I go to the admin, I can see now my admin login is available. And in order to do the migrations and create a super user, we need to do that on the local host. Here, for example, we need to first activate our virtual environment, which is eb-virt/script/activate. And then after that we can run python manage.py make migrations, and then migrate, and then after that we can create a super user. So python manage.py create super user, and we'll name it admin. This username is already taken, so I guess because I copied the database SQLite from the original folder, so it's still saved. So let me try to port this process and then log in the website or in the API. So if I can type here admin and then the password, and as you see, I'm logged in. Okay, and I can control my API, I can do whatever I want, and it's all deployed to AWS. But if you didn't have the admin or super user created, you can simply create it on the local host and then deploy again to AWS, and you will be able to access your admin panel from there. So that's it guys for this tutorial. Hope you learned something new, and if so, please hit the like button, that helps the channel. And if you're looking forward for more content like this, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. And until the next one.